It's a breezy spring day. I'm 13 years old. I woke up in the emergency room in pain, struggling to breathe. I touched my face and my hand came away wet with warm blood. The last thing I remembered was walking down the street with my family. A freak accident that day would come to change my life. A stone slab had fallen off the 4th floor of a building and hit me square in the head, shattering into hundreds of pieces on impact. The powerful force threw me forward onto the rough pavement, and the impact itself burned off most of my facial skin, broke my nose, knocked my teeth out, and tore my scalp. By every measure, I was lucky to be alive. As I lay in the hospital bed, I had only one thought. What do I look like? Can I have a mirror? That was the first time that I deeply understood the importance of appearance. For many of you, the topic of appearance or medical aesthetics may be irrelevant, and it may seem too superficial. So let me ask you this. Have you ever looked in the mirror and felt your face did not match how you felt inside? Have you ever wondered why looking tired can actually make you feel tired? Have you ever avoided a photo or deleted it? Not because you didn't care, but because you cared too much. We pretend appearance doesn't matter or shouldn't matter, even though every human brain is wired to respond to it. And why does it matter more, not less, as we age? And we are aging indeed. Fortunately, we live in an age of longevity, where we live longer and hopefully healthier lives. Today, 770,000 people in the world are 100 years or older. By 2100, only 75 years from now, that number is predicted to surpass 20 million. A 100-year-old life may become commonplace, or at least normalized, for generations after us. And that is a really long time to look in the mirror. 15 minutes from now, when you leave this talk, you will see your appearance and your relationship with it in a completely new way. You'll understand that how you feel about your appearance is really closely tied to your emotional well-being, but not only that, also to your longevity. And you learn about a new personal platform and framework that you can use, one that moves us away from treating the signs of aging to changing the course of aging. But before I tell you about these, a word about myself. My name is Haideh Hirmand, and I've spent over 20 years as an aesthetic plastic surgeon. Unlike what you may think, I'm not in the business of making people look better. I'm really in the business of making people feel better. I also trained as a scientist, studying genetics and cell biology, and later did research in immunology, a foundation that has informed the way I think about appearance and I think about the aging process. But most importantly, in over 2 decades of taking care of patients, I've seen thousands of patients. The person who comes after battling cancer for 3 years and says, taking care of her face is the first time she's felt normal since her diagnosis. The person who's literally mourning the loss of their youth. It makes them feel sad. The person who looks in the mirror and sees an image that does not match how they feel inside. And what this experience has taught me is simple, but profound. Our self-image quietly influences our emotional well-being as we move through life. Now, you may be aware of the biases, youth biases, beauty biases, that the appreciation of attractive faces or forms and objects are hardwired into the human brain. It's also well known that we're judged on our appearance, even in areas that are not related to appearance. That first impressions are everything. They're powerful. And that our self-esteem and confidence is connected to our self-image. But what you may not know is this. Positive self-perceptions of aging, i.e., how we feel about our aging, can itself increase longevity. A landmark study showed that those with positive views of their aging lived on average 7.5 years longer than those with negative views. Now, you may assume this is because they just started healthier. But the effect persisted when they controlled for age, gender, socioeconomic status, loneliness, and yes, health. What this means is that your attitude about your aging may be as important, if not more important, than your physical health to your longevity. Think about that for a moment. People come to me to feel better about their appearance as they age. In 2008, in the first decade of my practice, I participated in a research project to develop FaceQ, as in face questionnaire, the first validated tool to assess the effect of psychological, or the effect of improving one's appearance on psychological well-being. And what did it show? Once we developed it, in a study of more than 700 people, everyone consistently reported that improving their appearance made them feel happier and made them feel more like themselves. Their psychological well-being scores consistently improved after improving their facial appearance, the way they saw themselves. And this has been echoed again and again in other studies. Remember, those who felt better lived longer, and improving their appearance made people feel better. But the trick is, each person has their own unique idea of how they want to look as they age to feel their best. Let me now introduce you to a concept I developed in my practice and I use daily to really take this into account: appearance identity. Appearance identity is this very personal and deep and evolving relationship each of us has with our appearance as we go through life. It's the way we want to see ourselves to feel our best, and it's the way we want to see ourselves to feel like ourselves. For some people, this means embracing life's experiences in lines and wrinkles. For others, It means minimizing the signs of aging, like sagging skin or frown lines. Looking good and feeling good about it means different things to different people. Mapping appearance identity has become one of the key pillars of this new platform that we've developed, an aesthetic longevity platform in our practice that I'm actually really excited to finally introduce you to. It is a predict, prevent, repair platform based on 3 core pillars. And it spells a word. And what other word than age, of course. A, you guessed it right, stands for appearance identity. It's the foundation. It's the you that feels like you, that makes you feel your best at that stage in your life. We map appearance identity through a set of questions and a targeted exploration of motivations, expectations, and comfort zone. And we do this every time before making recommendations and regardless of signs of aging. G is for genomics. This pillar identifies the genes that can predispose you to certain aging traits. Working with data scientists and using big data analysis, we've identified a set of variants that are linked to patterns of aging, like photoaging, skin inflammation, skin sensitivity, laxity, cellulite, and so on. The genomic mapping starts to explain why each of us age differently. For example, my genomic mapping revealed high predispositions to photoaging, despite my olive skin. I wish I had known this 30 years ago. Inflammation and sensitivity. We're all wired differently in our genes, as you know. E is for epigenetics. If genomics tells us the story of our genes, epigenetics tells us what factors influence how the genes are expressed. So we look at factors like stress, exercise, nutrition, environmental factors, and other biomarkers and cellular signals that turn genes up and down. These are the levers you can control. Using these 3 pillars, we can create a personalized roadmap. And it's based entirely on your own biology and your own self-image. Your aging roadmap. This roadmap predicts precisely what you need to do to prevent damage and to repair what's already happened under the surface. To optimize the health of the largest organ of your body, your skin. And in doing that, we can prevent or minimize the signs of aging before they appear, not after they appear. Essentially, changing the course of aging. And by the way, that's how we can finally use new technologies and devices in their most targeted, precise, and effective way. So tomorrow, when you wake up and look in the mirror, take a moment. Look with new insight. Notice how your appearance reflects how you feel inside, and how that reflection impacts your perception of aging. Because how you feel about your aging can in turn influence your longevity. Remember that you can map your appearance identity through every stage of life, and that your aging trajectory is not fixed. It can be mapped using your personal data, your appearance identity, your genomics, and your epigenetics. And once your aging is mapped, it can be altered, in turn, altering your longevity and your well-being. Thank you.